Yo, 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 what up, man? This is round two. What's going on? I hope you guys watched that last stream. That was a very, very, very good and informative stream filled with stats, filled with peer reports and all of that good shit, man. Check that shit out, dog. Yo, so I've been meaning to do a video on the shooting of Roger Fortson in Georgia. um, and the reason why I feel I could put my input in on this is because I was in law enforcement. You know, I was in the Air Force as well, security forces. Had extensive training in that, and became a CO years later. You know, training in that, and I grew up in the hood, Brownsville, Brooklyn. So I kind of know both sides of what the hell's going on, and I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. I'm gonna just after looking at it and going over and over and over and over and over, something caught my eye. Something that the young man's mother said. Right? So let's just jump right on up into this right here. Let's get it on with this. We're gonna get right on into this here. So we're gonna go through this with the Officer Tatum, all right? So now I want to see how many people can tell me what's wrong with this.
I'm assuming that he asked for a backup unit, but they redacted it, so it's hard to tell if they asked for a backup unit or not. He's still by himself, getting ready to knock on his door at a potential domestic violence scene. Asinine. So there's a reason why he's waiting. We're trained to do this. You step off to the side, you listen first, because you may end up hearing the crime committing, right? You may hear somebody slapping, somebody screaming, because if they don't know you there, give it a little time, you may actually hear something. You may hear them arguing, you may hear somebody cussing somebody out, or you may hear them not as loud as they were, but whispering or talking low saying, you know, you shouldn't have slapped me. I've been 100 times, I've been to calls like that where I listen in and they like, well, you ever put your hands on me again? Now people gonna be calling the police on us because you can't keep your hands to yourself. You slapped me again. See, when they get here, I'm gonna tell them you slapped me, and we listening the whole time, and we like, oh, okay. We hear everything they saying. This is going down in the case report. They already made admissions before they knew we were present.
He knocked on the door, didn't say shit. What else did he do wrong? Now, what he do wrong? What would raise a flag with you? Somebody just knock on your door and you go to the peephole and you don't see anybody.
Here's the brutal, honest truth that you need to hear, but probably don't want to. If you're not doing powerbatics, you're crazy. You're wasting 5, 10
around a did it ever.
Damn.
Heard some coordinated by him. They already made admissions. I'm gonna tell them you sleep, and they like.
All right, that was the first mistake. So they knocked on it, don't say shit. Homeboy looked through the peephole, don't see nobody. You're like, what the fuck?
People may question, why did he knock on the door, step off to the side, step off to the other side? That's how we're trained. You don't want to sit in a fatal funnel, right? If he's off to the side like this, if guy pop out with a gun, he has an advantage. You don't want to stand right in front of the door. They open the door on you and it's over.
And look what happened. And look what happened. Now, you could say, you know, based off of the area that you work, if you're in a high crime area, you know what I'm saying? You know, I get it. You know what I mean? But he knocked on the door and didn't say shit. Right? But that is true. You don't want to be fucking just standing there. But what you could do is when you knock on the door, I don't know, you hold something up. Yo, Sheriff Department, Officer West, can you open the door, please? You know what I'm saying? Of course, what I'm doing is what they call Monday morning quarterbacking. But not really, because this is a real shit that happens. That's something you got to do, bro. Because you don't want to be in this type of situation, right? This nigga knocked on the door and didn't say nothing and moved from the peephole.
You may get caught like that depending on the circumstance, but we're taught to kind of step off to the side.
See, he said you may get caught like that depending on the circumstance. And this is one of them circumstances.
Sheriff's office, open the door.
One command, Sheriff's office.
Sheriff's office, open the door.
Now, shorty still don't see nobody.
Step out.
So the cop automatically is going to look at this guy's hands, right? Automatically. Now, here's the bad part about being a cop or in law enforcement. When I was in the military, when I carried an M16, I could not have a round chamber, dog. And it could not be on fire. So you got the fucking charging handle, you pull back to extract one of the rounds up into the chamber. And then you got to flick the switch to fire, right? So you got 2 steps before you're ready to shoot. Now, why do you think they had it where we had 2 steps prior to shooting? Because you got to make a conscious decision that that's the correct thing for you to do, right? Now, is it putting you in danger? Yeah, it's putting you in danger, right? Now, when we had a 9mm, we had one in the chamber, and was the safety on? I think the safety was on. I don't remember, but I know that the fucking rifle, you couldn't have one chambered and you couldn't have it on fire, and they would ride around and they would check your weapon. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at this, he was nervous. The cop, he was nervous as fuck. Would it have made a difference if there was another cop with him? Yes. Why? Because he would have, just the fact that he had another officer with him, it would have brung his anxiety down a notch or two. He would have been totally comfortable because he's still going into a possible dangerous situation, but it would have brought it down a notch or two. But I'm gonna tell you, the fact that he put 6 rounds in old boy that motherfucking quick.
Okay. As soon as he opened the door, he said, step back. He see the gun, and he had to engage. Now, many people will have a problem with this. I don't think it's as clean as it should have been.
It's not.
But when you heard the part where it was inaudible, I'm assuming that's when the kid on the inside was acknowledging to somebody on the phone that it's the police.
Negative. We can't assume that. Not that it matters. Don't even matter, bro. It don't matter because that motherfucker still got shot, right? It don't matter because he still opened the door with the gun in his hand, right? And it doesn't matter because the officer still perceived it as a threat and put 6 rounds in his ass. So whether or not he acknowledged to somebody on the phone that it was the cops, it don't matter. So, but what I'm saying is, watch this. This is what I saw that made me understand why this young man came there with the firearm.
My location.
But was later pronounced dead at the hospital.
My baby was my everything. Roger was my third son. Where we come from, you don't end up where Roger ended up.
Adding to their pain, Fortson's family believes deputies went to
Where we come from, Roger don't make it to where he's at. Right? Where we come from. So they come from a bad neighborhood. So Roger, coming from a bad neighborhood, will probably be more on edge than this the average person, right? You hear somebody knocking on your door, don't say shit. You look through the peephole, you don't see nothing. Then you hear somebody knock on the fucking door, right? And still don't. And then you hear somebody knock on the door, yo, police. Then you look through the peephole and you still don't see nobody. So he was probably telling his whoever's on the phone, yo, somebody knocking on my door, but I don't see him. Right? I think that's a little bit better than. I think that's more realistic than being like, yo, the police is at my door. I think he was telling somebody, yo, somebody knocking on my door, but I don't see nobody. Right? Which is probably why he opened the door with the firearm in his hand. Right? So I understand why he did it. Is it a mistake? No. It's not a mistake. On his part, on Roger's part, no. If you got a firearm, your license to carry, somebody's playing games at your door, knocking on the door, and then nobody says nothing, then knock back like, yo, it's the police. Yeah, all right. So was he wrong for that? No. Y'all, you guys know about Georgia. Georgia off the hook, B. Georgia off the hook, man. I remember a video. These bitches followed this chick up. Her apartment looked similar to that. Bitch went upstairs, going to her apartment. These bitches ran down the stairs. Boom. Pulled out on her. She had her shit ready. Bam, 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 bam. Hit him up. Like Georgia wild, man. So I don't fault Roger. He looked through the peephole. If he'd have saw it was the cop, we'll never know if he would have put the firearm away or not. We'll never know. He's 23. Maybe he's thinking, you know what? I'm in the military. I got a license for this joint. You know, I can open the door in my house with the gun in my hand. We don't know. Right? And that's the truth. Shorty pulled his firearm, and I think he was justified in pulling his firearm, going to his door. Why? Why do I feel that way? Because the first knock, nobody in the peephole, nobody said nothing. Second knock, yo, it's the police. Look through the peephole, you see nobody. Third knock, police. Look through the peephole, don't see nobody. Somebody's playing games at my door. So, in ways you can prevent this from happening to you, because you have to present a solution when you see a problem, not just talk about it. Okay, show me your badge, show me something, right? You can ask that. If you're not satisfied with that, say they're in plain clothes. Yeah, then an alarm really goes up. You hop on the phone, you call 911. You say, hey, yo, listen, my name is so-and-so. I'm at such and such and such an address, and there's police at my door. Did anybody send police to this address before I open the door? Because I'm about to open the door with my firearm. Right? These are solutions for a situation like that. If 911 come back, yo, let's check this out, man. Ain't nobody over there. We're gonna dispatch police over there. Don't open your door and just sit there and wait, or open your door, guns blazing. I don't know, but the solution is in a situation like this, bro. Ask them to identify, and saying you're the police is not identifying yourself, bro. Anybody could say they the fucking police, bro. You got niggas that'll pull you over in a regular car that with some fucking strobe lights that they bought off of Amazon, nigga, and pull you over and act like a fucking cop. So you need to see something. If you're not safe with what you see, you call 911. You say, yo, I'm so and so. I'm at such and such, and there's somebody knocking on my door talking about they're the cops. Did you send cops over here? Because I'm about to open the door with my firearm. And then you just stand by and wait, bro. Because if they start kicking your door in, guess what? You're justified, bro. You understand? You got a barrier that's breaking and entering, and you'll still be alive. All right. I want to talk about the blue wall. Okay. Everybody knows the blue wall is real, dog. All right. The blue wall is where I go out with my partner every day, and he's got my back, or she's got my back, and I got theirs. Maybe they fucking saved your life one day. Maybe they saved your life one day, whatever. But maybe one day you made a mistake. Maybe one day you made a mistake, man. Do you let this person you let them fall? Do you help them out? Do you be loyal to the brotherhood? What do you do? Well, the same thing applies in fucking gang life, right? I assume. I don't know about gang life, but I would assume, that's your partner or whatever. So you're gonna lie for him. You're gonna cover for him, right? Whose drugs is it? I don't know. Whose gun is it? I don't know. Whose car is it? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Many times, man, we went and did on a pro team, whatever. Somebody got fucked up. He's like, yo, who will hit you? I don't know. Motherfuckers will not say shit. They'll write. Fuck, they used to write. They used to write something on a fucking paper, bro. On either they wouldn't fucking fill out an inmate statement at all, or they'll put like I don't know or some shit like that on it. No, my bad. They put refuse. They ain't signing nothing. Where it says signature, they'll write refuse on that shit because they're holding it down. Same thing with the cops. Maybe your boy was out drinking too much. He had a stressful day. He going through it with his fucking wife. DUI. You pull him over. Yo, Blake, what the fuck you doing? Tyshawn, what you doing? Man, me and Tanya got into it. I just can't have a few drinks, man, and I fucking hit this person's car. When I was trying to stop at the light, whatever. What you gonna do? You gonna turn Tyshawn in, or you just gonna get the other person's info, take Tyshawn's info, and whatever it is, what you gonna do? You're supposed to cover Tyshawn to the best of your ability. It's called the blue wall, right? So right now, this the Florida Police Department is faced with that, and it exists. It's also based off of your fucking record. If you're known to be a fuck up, always doing some dumb shit, niggas might just leave you out to dry this time. Prime example of that was the officer in South Carolina who did a traffic stop. The guy starts running. The cop shoots the nigga in the back. Then he walks up to him and throws his taser on the fucking ground. But he didn't know there was somebody behind some bushes fucking filming that shit. Yo, bro, there's nothing we could do for you, champ. They gave that nigga 10 years. There's nothing we could do for you. You know what I'm saying? Who knows what could have happened if you wouldn't have fucking threw the taser down. We might have been able to pull that fucking white privilege shit off on you and to cover you and all that shit, but you got caught throwing a fucking taser down, bro. By your side. You made up a lie talking about dude took your taser. But in this case, I don't know what that deputy's track record is. But, he fucked up not being present at the fucking door. I get it. But if he would have knocked on the door, if he'd have did one of these, say the mic is the peephole, boom, boom, yo, open up, police. Boom, boom, open up, police. So, the dude is going to be standing there looking through the peephole to see who the fuck is there. And he might catch you right there, like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? These are the risks of the job. You know what I'm saying? You could have waited for backup. I bet you he's sitting there like, damn, man, I should have waited for fucking backup, man. And I also know he's probably telling himself that he didn't do anything wrong. He keeps harping on, yo, when he opened the door, he was standing there with a gun. It's a domestic. They said that, they're always hearing shit from that door. They're always fighting at that door. He's telling them all of these things. And he's trying to ignore in his head, I should have been at the peak hole. And that's the truth of it. So right now, they got to think about, all right, is there going to be a riot? Is there going to be, this or that? Can we put them somewhere to fucking hide them until this blows over? Shit like that. Normally what happens in cases like this, they'll go in the nigga's background. Say, oh, he's been arrested. He's been arrested 5 times prior, resisting arrest and carrying weapons. And that's how they get off. But when you go through a nigga record and he's either a military member, clean record, or he's a college student, clean record, or he's a father going to work, clean record, or you didn't have a weapon, clean record. That's why keeping your record is clean is important. That's why not being in trouble is important, because one day trouble might come knocking on your door. And you in that fucking courtroom, I used to date a girl. She got to an incident, and then we had went to court and shit for her. And her lawyer, it was a landslide case, because the lawyer is like, Your Honor, she's she has a master's. She works for the city, helping people with AIDS, or she's a counselor, some whatever, all the shit that she does, whatever. They read, and then when they read to the other motherfucker record, bitch been arrested, drugs, assault on family members, this and this. And they, all right. Niggas will judge you just by the fucking record, bro. They won't even. Once they hear some shit, they already made up in their mind who like which way they going. Once they hear assault on a family member, assault or this, all right, it's her fault. The bitch liked to fight. This one here got caught up in it. She has no record. She works for the city. You know, she's highly educated. She good. Even though that was the way it went. But your record means a lot. And Shorty record, Roger's record appears to be pretty fucking good. We don't know the cop's record. I don't know if the lawyer asked to see his record. Now, if you ask to see the cop record, and this nigga got what is that shit? They used to hit me with that shit all the fucking time. Excessive force. He's got like multiple excessive force. It's over. Straight up. Excessive force, Pop. It's over. Now, as far as punishment, no matter what, man, the nigga, you know, he might have to be fired, dog. That right there, without question, dog. Not only did you take a life, even though the guy had a gun, I know, but you took a life, and the way you went to the door wasn't clean. It was just dirty enough. It was fucked up enough for you to lose your job. If you would have stayed in that fucking peephole just one time, it's that's all they needed to push you over. You know? Now, what the officer could do is which is kind of a fucked up move, but you could put the blame on your training. You could say, yo, listen, man, this is how they trained me, dog. If they'd have trained me to stand there and look in the peephole, I'd have stood there and looked in the peephole. They trained me to stand off to the side. And that gotta be in their fucking rules and regs. That can't be some shit like not in the rules and regs and like a fucking vet told you, you know, like a dude who got a lot of time on the job told you. If that shit's not in the rules and regs, and you said that's how they trained you, then you done. That shit got to be in the rules and regs. If you had training, you're gonna have to cite what officer trained you. Then they're gonna pull that nigga in for fucking questioning. Are you the such and such trainer? Yeah. Do you teach officers to knock on the door and not be present at the peephole? Do you teach officers to knock on the door and not announce themselves first, but announce themselves on the second, like that's how they gonna do, bro. That's how they gonna do you. But the way that chief looked, he gonna do his best. He gonna do his best to hold old boy down.
We are aware of a press release and other comments that falsely state our deputy entered the wrong apartment and imply that they burst through the door into Mr. Fortson's residence.
During the shooting, the airman was on a FaceTime call with his girlfriend, who Crump says told him there was never a disturbance at Fortson's home. Crump says Fortson had been home alone just 30 minutes before the deputy arrived. He heard 2 knocks at the door, and when he couldn't see anyone through the peephole, Crump said, citing the girlfriend, then Fortson grabbed his gun, which Crump said he legally owned. And the
See? It's the peephole, kid. The nigga look through the peephole. He from the hood. You look through the peephole. It sound like a setup. You look through the people, niggas banging on your door. They not there. Back in the day, yo, you ever see niggas knock on a peephole? They knock on your door, boom, 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 and then they do this shit. You remember that? Remember that shit? Nah, man. Nope. Yeah, let me in, not by the hairs of my chinny chin chin. Not opening this door. You crazy, man. Especially knocking on my door like that. Why you knocking on my door so aggressive, Pop? Nah, you knocking on my door like you want to fight. I look through the people, I don't see nobody. What the fuck? So, I mean, yeah, that chief gonna try everything he can, man. The moms want blood though. What's today's date? 16th. The mom wants blood. She said, what she said? She said, you cried in my face. Then you went and did a speech. She said, I'm done crying and and all this other shit. Where is this shit? Hold on. And the sad part is, the sad part is he was a good dude, man. You know what I'm saying? He made it through the hood, went to the Air Force, and fucking still got shot by a cop. So that officer, his job is gone. The question is if he gonna do time. That's the question, bro. The question is this nigga going to jail? Let's see. We got an attorney here. Let's see what he says. Mm-hmm.
A world where if we're actually doing nothing wrong, nothing unlawful, that it's impossible when people who are ignorant of how the law actually works get a little bit of law, a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing. But if it's what they want to believe, they're all in 100%. Are you ever able to retreat with complete safety from another person who has a gun in hand a couple feet away? No, you're not. Hold on a second, folks.
Damn. Damn.
The person against whom the force is used has to have been doing something wrong, actually doing something wrong, actually engaged in some criminal conduct, actually be threatening anybody. Because if you're watching for those as we step through the jury instruction, I think you'll have difficulty finding those conditions for the use of deadly force in self-defense under Florida law because they do not exist. So these are the actual jury instructions that would be given to a Florida jury in this case. Now, I should mention jury instructions when they're in their primary form. So if you look it up on the internet, there's kind of a fill in the blanks aspect to them. So, for example, it'll include since 3.6F, justifiable use of deadly force. You can just Google that, and you'll get the version of it doesn't yet have the brackets filled in. But I filled them in here otherwise it gets kind of clunky reading through it for purposes of the facts of this case. So it is a defense, and that means a legal defense, a perfect defense. That means it's not a crime. The conduct is actually lawful. It is a defense to the crime of murder or manslaughter, which presumably would be the charge here if a charge was brought, if the actions of the deputy constituted the justifiable use of deadly force. First paragraph of the jury instruction. So, seems obvious, right? If the deputy's use of force was justifiable use of force, then his conduct's not a crime. He's not guilty of an unlawful killing, of a murder or manslaughter. Of course, that begs the question, right? Well, did it constitute justifiable use of deadly force? Because if it didn't,
Cop gonna get off. Cop is gonna get off. Reason being, when Roger opened the door, he had a gun in hand. Right. Now, he didn't give an order to drop the weapon, though. Do they not have to do that? You know, I mean, even though motherfucker say drop the weapon and still shoot you, but we didn't hear him say drop the weapon. Did he say drop the weapon? Let me be sure. No, he didn't say drop the weapon. He didn't. He just shot that nigga, man. So he didn't say drop the weapon.
then this likely is murder or manslaughter. Fortunately, the jury instruction guides the jury on how it should go about determining whether or not this use of deadly force was justifiable. The deputy would be justified in using deadly force if he reasonably believed that such force was necessary to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm to himself.
That's it. That word, that one word, reasonably. Is it reasonable to think someone is going to shoot you if they open the door with a gun in their hand? I could reason with that I might be in danger, in close danger. Imminent means close. Yeah, these niggas gonna get off, dog. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. And being that he gets off, that means he ain't gonna get fired either. So that's it, champ.
Does it say, folks, the deputy's justified if he was facing imminent death or great bodily harm?
No.
Does it say he's justified if it was necessary to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm? No, that's not what it says. That's not what the jury instruction requires for this use of force to be lawful. What the jury instruction requires is that the deputy have a reasonable belief that the use of deadly defensive force was necessary to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm to himself. Note that it doesn't say anything about Roger Fortson's state of mind yet, and never will. It doesn't require that Roger Fortson be doing anything unlawful yet, and it never will. It requires here that the deputy had a reasonable belief that his use of deadly defensive force was necessary to prevent his death. Does that belief have to be correct? Does it have to be accurate? No. If the deputy was mistaken about the need to use force, deadly force in self-defense, could that still be lawful? Yes.
Damn.
A lot of people make a big deal out of the fact that Roger Fortson didn't raise the muzzle of his gun up to the deputy before the deputy shot him. The muzzle was pointed down. Let's pretend the muzzle was pointed at the deputy before the deputy shot him. And then afterwards, it turned out the gun was, Roger Fortson's gun was not a real gun. It was an inert plastic toy. It was a blue gun, incapable of firing an actual bullet, and therefore was not actually presenting a threat of imminent death or great bodily harm to the deputy. The deputy literally made a mistake. He thought he was facing a real gun, but he wasn't. Would that invalidate the deputy's shooting of Fortson under those conditions? No. As long as the deputy had a reasonable belief, even if mistaken.
That tells why, you know, back in the day when niggas used to get shot over wallets and hairbrushes and shit. You remember that? Oh, he was reaching for something. You know, so he reasonably believed that his life was in danger because the person was reaching for something. And a couple times the nigga was just reaching for his wallet or his hairbrush. Even though I don't know why the fuck you'd be reaching for your hairbrush when you see a cop, but
that his use of deadly force was necessary to prevent his own imminent death or great bodily harm. Continuing now with the Florida jury instruction, the next paragraph. If the deputy was not otherwise engaged in criminal activity and was in a place he had a right to be, then he had no duty to retreat and had the right to stand his ground. This is Florida's, of course, stand your ground language. Is stand your ground relevant here on the facts of this case? At the moment that deputy made the decision to use deadly defensive force, was stand your ground relevant? Stand your ground would only apply. All stand your ground does is relieve you of an otherwise existing legal duty to retreat. So if the deputy would have had a legal duty to retreat, stand your ground relieves him of that obligation. But that duty to retreat would only ever apply if retreat was possible with complete safety. Are you ever able to retreat with complete safety from another person who has a gun in hand a couple feet away? No, you're not. Hold on a second, folks.
I want to see what he says about the. I want to see what he says about.
I thought I heard somebody in my office. Okay, that's the whole video I have. That's obviously now the shootings happened. Some more apparent lies being told by Benjamin Crump is that the police never called for EMS. Obviously, we just heard the deputy call for EMS. In any case, that wouldn't matter, right? Whether or not EMS showed up after the fact would have nothing to do with whether or not the shooting, which has already occurred, was lawful or not. So let's go back to the sheriff's interview. Let me fast forward past their version. Yeah, so their version of the video was just it's projected on a screen, so it looks like soup. I'm glad I had my own version. By the way, if you're a Law of Self-Defense member, I will embed this original version of the body-worn camera and this press conference into the replay version of today's live show on the Law of Self-Defense blog. Going to go past there. There's the shooting. Let's see. Okay, and the sheriff is now back.
Forward to FDLE's findings and the final third-party review done by the state attorney's office. We know you have many questions, as do we, but we are confident in our state's agencies' abilities to investigate the facts, no matter where they may lead, and we are prepared to take action that is required to best serve our residents the military community, and our visitors. Transparency and accountability have been our top priorities from day one. We will also be distributing the link for your reporting needs, and when we have more information, we will share it. Until then, I must respectfully ask that you direct all questions to the investigative agency, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Personally, I want to add that it's been my life's honor to be your sheriff. That service extends to all of our citizens, military, visitors, and the deputies that I lead. You are all important and valued to me as your sheriff. I know we will come to a resolution in this matter, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your patience and understanding as we go through this. Please remember the Fortson family, and please remember our family in your thoughts and prayers. This concludes the press conference.
All right. So another big talking point I see is that Fortson never pointed the gun at the deputy. The gun was pointed at the ground. Okay. So what? What if Fortson had just murdered his domestic partner? So we would know in hindsight that he was a murderer, a killer. Would the deputy be required to wait until Fortson pointed his muzzle
No.
at the deputy before the deputy could defend himself? Of course not. And at the moment, now, of course, we know that Roger Fortson was not a murderer, but we know that now in hindsight. The deputy didn't know that. The deputy had reason to believe.
Yeah, man. Dude is getting off, kid. That's it. That's a wrap. So this is gonna be we're gonna see what they're gonna do now, because they're not gonna charge him. He's not even gonna lose his job, kid. He's gonna be indemnified. All of his legal fees are gonna be paid by the department or by his union, if they have one down there. Because that's what they do up here. If you did everything by the book, you were correct, then the department will indemnify you. They'll get somebody to represent you. You don't got to worry about nothing. But if you didn't do everything by the book, you on your own. All right, man, I'm about to go. I will see you guys later. Have a good one. Be safe. All right, later.